Do you talk to them about the idea of a perfect season at all?
We haven't touched on that at all. We've, this group has been really focused on the day-to-day, and we've talked about what we need to do each day to be great. And, we talked a little bit once rankings started to come out. I was in their ear about those numbers don't mean anything, and even though they do, I wanted to convince them that it doesn't matter what we're ranked or what anybody else is ranked. And Coach Jim Miller stopped me once we climbed to number 2, and he was like, "Wow, number 2, that's awesome." And I looked at him, and I knew it. He was going to say, he said, "But it doesn't matter." And then he backed up and he said, "Listen, it does matter. You guys have done some great things." But he said, if being ranked number 2 in January is the best thing you do this year, you're going to be really disappointed. And so I shared that with the team, that we had a lot more to do. And so we feel really fortunate that we're in this position, and being undefeated is awesome, but we're not done. We're looking at this next game, and that's all that we really have on our minds, and we want to get to Saturday. That's our goal.
Did you envision something like this when this senior class were freshmen?
My first meeting with them when they were freshmen, I said, we're going to win a national championship. Whether we do it or not in your time, we'll wait and see. But I wanted them to have that vision right away. And, in that first season when they were freshmen, it was a lot of growing pains, a lot to learn. And we started to figure out that year how good all these other teams were, and what we needed to start to do to try to be as good as they are. And then, the sophomore year when we made the Final Four run, they really got a taste of, maybe we can do this. And then since then, that's been their mission. And they've bought in. They've done it together. They've lived a championship culture the rest of that time, and we just want to continue to live that.
Bob, I asked the student athletes about this, but being around the winning culture of football and wrestling and stuff, how much does that help your program grow?
I think it's contagious, and we use all those guys a lot. I think that's something special about both our athletes and our coaching staffs, that we're together and we want to see each other succeed, and we help each other. But I think winning breeds more winning, and we're very, very fortunate to be in this setting with great people, competitive people that I think do it the right way on a daily basis.
What has Katie Summers meant to this program, the energy she's brought and her growth from when she first started here?
She's an amazing player. She just really is. She's done something in this program that I think it's really hard to do, because the two things oppose each other. She scored her 1,000th point back in November, and then a few weeks later she broke our all-time assist record. And to do both of those, I just think that's really, really hard to do. But she leads us. She makes her teammates better. But this whole group, they complement each other so well, and to have 4 1,000-point scorers all in the same class, I still can't wrap my head around that. They're just unselfish, and they don't really care who scores, and it's different people each night, and sometimes it's different people each quarter. And we've got a lot of kids that can step up when they need to step up. But Katie certainly leads the group, and we wouldn't be the same without her as our point guard. And in our last game, she made big-time defensive plays that sometimes don't really show up on the stat sheet. But in the second quarter, she made some things happen to kind of get us jump-started. And and then her energy, she's just contagious, and she means a lot to our program.
All these girls from right around here, 3 from the same high school. Has that helped the chemistry of this team?
I think it does. Some of them come in as rivals. which is fun to see. They aren't sure about each other until they really get to know each other, and that's been a lot of fun. But more so the fan support that brings in, to have local talent, to have mom and dad and brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles and grandparents and friends, and it's our crowds over these last 2 weekends have been unbelievable. We're probably averaging close to 2,000 fans a game over the last couple of weeks, and students weren't here, and that just amazes me that this group has been able to generate that kind of following from our community.
How valuable has just the state in general been to the success to your recruiting, I guess?
I'm sorry, say that again.
How valuable, important has recruiting the state, I guess, been to you?
It's who we are. Wartburg has a great reputation, and that's our first sell, and it's an easy one. And then our second sell is the basketball program, but our state is really, really good. And I told a buddy of mine, kind of my mentor, that year that we were getting these kids, I said the state is loaded with talent, and the Iowa Conference is going to be really, really good in the next few years. And he reminded me that the other night. He was here and supporting us, and he said, "I remember when you guys said that." And but our state has great talent, and we feel like if we can do well in our immediate area, that we're going to be very, very competitive.
Coach, when you think of teams that can contend for national titles on a year-to-year basis, especially in Division III, it seems like it's only a small handful, maybe a couple of names that you see year after year. What's it taken to get to a second Final Four in 3 years, and can you sustain that?
It's taken talent, and you don't do it without talent. But I think the difference that we've made, the change that we've made, is our culture. And we want to live a championship culture. And, we talked a long time ago about you don't win a championship and then start acting like a champion. You got to do it the other way. You got to start acting like a champion, and then you got a chance to win a championship. So if we can maintain one thing, I want to maintain our culture. And that's our number one goal. It's been our number one goal. These guys said it at the beginning of the year that our number one goal is to have championship culture. And so that's the one thing that we want to remain constant. And if we can do that, if we can get the talent to support that, I think we can sustain it. Next year, it's a big question mark. We're probably graduating, I don't even know, over 5,000 points. That's going to be hard to replace. You can't really replace it, but we've got some really good young kids that have been taught the right way, that are getting a Final Four experience, and they're going to see what it's all about, and we'll use that, and I think that will help us continue to fight the way we need to fight to be really, really good.
Someone had talked about how their freshman year, the culture wasn't what they wanted it to be. What do you remember about what it was that year that was maybe not going how you guys wanted it to where it is now?
I don't think it was a bad culture. I just don't think it was championship caliber. And so this group, when they finished up their freshman year, we actually took a trip to Spain in the summer, and that was kind of the start of them getting together and talking about what's it really take for us to be great. And so it was something that we were coaching, but they still have to make that decision to do it and to make it work. And Morgan Neuendorf, I think, said it in the press conference the other night, that the difference that we have now is we've got everybody on board. It takes more than just the kids that are playing and in the rotation, and it takes more than the seniors. It takes a great scout team every day in practice. It takes everybody buying into their roles, and I think that's made the biggest difference, that if you watch our bench during games, you're going to fall in love with us because we're together and we're supported, and everybody plays their role to the best of their ability.
Coach, a lot of teams talk about family figuratively. There's a literal aspect to this team as well. When you got the Summers and the Murphys. Having that many sisters on one team, how does that affect the dynamic?
It's awesome because those kids can challenge each other, call each other out, hold each other accountable, and at the end they still love each other. And so we've through the years used them as an example about how we need to hold each other accountable. It needs to be like family. You know, and the other part of that is Katie and Christy played at Linn-Mar, so did Aaron Jones, you know, so they're coming from the same program. And then we've got Adrian Butker, Emma Gertis, Allie Conrad all played at Cedar Falls. Those kids have grown up together. And to have that, it is family. And, you know, I told them the other night in the locker room that we're different because I've never been around a group other than my family that loved each other as much as this group does, that challenges each other, holds each other accountable, doesn't really care who gets the credit. As long as we win, we win.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about Morgan's development in your program, and what type of sell did you have to get her to come out for basketball after she came onto Wartburg's campus?
Well, I've known Morgan for a long time. I think I met her probably when she was in 8th grade, and so I've known her, and she knew what I thought of her as a basketball player growing up. You know, she had made a decision pretty early to go to Mankato, and you know, I wished her well, and then she wanted to bounce back and play soccer, and once I heard that, I mean, I got kind of excited, but I didn't bother her. I wanted that transition for her into Wartburg to be easy, to be no pressure. So she came and played soccer, and we didn't talk for probably 6 weeks about basketball. We didn't even mention it. I got a hold of her and I said, "Hey, Morgan, it's great to have you back. You're going to have a great experience at Wartburg," and I left it at that. And then, I don't know, mid-October, I think I touched base with her and said that I'm ready to talk when you're ready to talk. And she came in and made the decision to give it a shot, and she's been unbelievable. To do 2 sports at the level that she's done them, and I'd have to look, but 6 NCAA tournaments, I think, between the 2 sports, player of the year in soccer, and over the last 4 or 5 games, she's been our best player. And for her to do that, it's pretty incredible.
Coach, last question before we split into smaller interviews. Same question I asked the players. What is one word or phrase that you would use to summarize the season so far?
You stumped me. Only one word, maybe my hashtag. We need each other. You know, we've kind of adopted that. Our kids know it. When we're together, we're really good. When we're not very good. And so we live that, I think, all the time, every day, that when we can play together, share the ball, defend together, communicate, we're really good.